Look at the size of that piece of quartz. That's huge. I mean, good grief, that is monstrous. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for another video. And yes, I am back. I know a lot of you guys that have been following me for years probably wondered what happened. I have been absolutely slammed at work. I live in Colorado, as a lot of you know, and Colorado had a hailstorm it's basically about the hailstorm of 40 years. There hasn't been anything that big in 40 years in Colorado. It's the 6th biggest natural disaster that's ever happened in Colorado, including all the fires that we've had, and I'm a roofer, so extremely busy. So I am back now. I know I did take off for probably almost a month, but I will be back now doing my videos. I can't promise you they'll always be twice a week right now, just till this craziness that with my work slows down. But I'm back in the beautiful Colorado Rockies today, and I actually came upon a mine, or what used to be a mine, back in here. And in Colorado there's an awful lot of these, but the remnants of a mine. There's a nice spring over here, and I figured, hey, this would be a nice place to stop, make a few videos, and get back to doing God's Woodsman. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. Sorry I was gone, sorry I didn't let you know what was going on, but I'm back. Let's make some videos and have some fun. Coming up today, I'm going to show you why it's so important to make your fire on bare earth. Especially in a pine forest like we're in now. This is a huge pine forest, lots of down trees, and I'm going to show you why that is so important today. So, first thing I'm going to do is go over here, get a fire going. I've also got some food that I actually brought up. I brought some soup up with me in a thermos. Just had a quick, I don't have a whole lot of times on a Sunday, and I figured I'd come up here and make something to eat. So, or not make something to eat, but just come up here, make some videos, and eat something while I was up here. So, go ahead and get the fire going, and you guys can check back in with me. Back when this thing was still a mine, this was a hinge. That's a hunk of leather. It's probably, good grief, 100 years old, or a couple hundred, or 150 years old. But that was a hinge. It was nailed into another piece of wood, which is either rotting away or, I don't know. But the leather is still in one piece. I mean, it's still flexible. That's amazing. It's not rubber, that's leather. It's probably older than my grandfather. And somebody pounded it into this wood when he was working on a mine. I mean, it's just crazy. Maybe he used that to hang his hat, or who knows. It's pretty amazing when you start thinking about it. You know, I'm sure all his hopes and dreams and everything were in this. There's hunks of quartz everywhere up here. I don't know really anything about mining, but apparently where quartz is, usually gold and silver are, so This was probably his cabin, and that right there was probably the mine. But you never know. Old cans. Piece of metal from a barrel. One of the barrel drums. See the rivets? There's one can I saw earlier that you can tell it was a coffee can, just like the way it was. Like, it's nice to know that they drank coffee back then too. Oh, here you go. Probably part of his door, and the hinge still works. How wild is that? Look here, he didn't have a big enough nail or screw, so he just put two nails in there. That's pretty wild. That was probably his oh, it looks like that was his door, because right here is part of it. See right here? And then the planks would have gone across. Or probably sheet metal, actually. You can see the nails, and on the back side of this, I bet you he bent them over. Yep. So the boards themselves have all rotted away. The heck? Oh, it's a mushroom. I'm trying to figure out what the heck that was. The mushroom. I think it's amazing that the hinges still work and are not rusted shut. But this is pretty typical. And then it looks like this was another door. Because right here are some other hinges, and he even had a screw here. Who knows? It'd be really cool if you could see a picture of how what this looked like then. I mean, he picked a nice area. It's got a nice little creek going through here. Or not creek, actually. It's actually a spring. It comes out from right here. Just bubbling up out of the ground. So you'd always have fresh water. And you can bet that if he decided to camp here and have a mine here, that spring was operational. Even way back when. You guys may or may not have noticed, but when you're walking around in a pine forest, the ground itself is actually kind of squishy. It kind of moves. It's kind of like squish, squish, squish. What that is all of the pine needles and bits of pine and everything rotting away to make. See how when I walk, everything's kind of soft. And what that's from is years and years and years and years of pine needles and everything decaying. So all this right here, and it can be, I mean, very, very deep. And there's places where it's not even wet the way this is. But this is not dirt. Every bit of this would burn or smolder for hours. So you can't build a fire on this. But there's other places where it doesn't look quite like that. It looks more like this. This right here is after it's dried. This right here is actually will burn quite well. It almost burns like coal. So some of this I'll usually take a few big pieces. You can see plants can grow in it, but it's not dirt. So I take a few good-sized pieces like that, just lift it up, kind of like a piece of pizza, and I usually scrape off the part that's wet. And then I'll just carry this back, kind of like pieces of pizza, and then I'll add this to my fire to make it last longer, to burn longer. Makes a really good bed of embers. Let's see if I can carry this back one-handed and hold the camera. So, it's very important to make sure that you don't light a fire on something like this. And sometimes it's hard to tell. One of the easiest ways to tell is you're looking for like gravel to build your fire. You're looking for dirt. You're not looking for peat, is what this is. So, take a piece of this. That's a good fire going right there. I've got a whole bunch of pine knots burning on it, but kind of spread this around a little bit. Take this, put it right on top. Now watch, this will actually light. I'll put a couple more chunks over here. And then if you turn it over, it's all on fire. So you definitely wouldn't want to build your campfire on that. But it's a very helpful thing to add to your campfire. It's very easy to collect, and chunks of it will just burn like coal. So I'll usually keep some of this handy, especially right before I'm getting ready to go to bed. You put a big chunk of that on there, it burns for forever. You can see it's all on fire. And if you get some that's just a little bit moist and it's not dry like this is, that's fine too, because it'll slow down the burning of it. It can't be like, you know, wet, just be a little bit damp. That's okay. It'll just smolder the evening through. So that's a good way to put something in the campfire that'll really help your fires last a lot longer. And that also explains a little bit about how important it is to make sure you're building your fire on bare earth, not peat. So guys, hope you all have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a big thumbs up. That helps support the channel. And you guys all have a great day and get out in the woods. See ya.